Hello, Cindy here. Hope everyone's doing amazing today. I'm super excited to talk about a hot topic around what we call stage five clinger. Who knows what a stage five clinger is? If you do, push put the thumbs up in the comment box. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about what a stage five clinger is, if you've experienced it, or if you felt like you've become that way in a dating or relationship type situation. So the Urban Dictionary states a stage five clinger is needy, clingy. They can the thought process is the person starts off slowly and then all of the sudden becomes really possessive of the person, wanting to know that person's whereabouts. And, if you don't get a text back right away, wondering where you're at. So there's just a lot of, I want to say, feeling like you need to be attached at the hip, and that stage five clinger needs a lot of affirmations. Not to mention the stage five clinger. This is typical. They tend to be emotionally up and down, so they're addicted to their emotions. So one minute you're not doing something right, so they might push you away and want to break up with you, and then the next moment everything's great and you're in love. And maybe you're thinking to yourself, well, I've felt that way in relationship, or I've been that person. So I'm going to educate you a little bit around how that can actually come about, and what to look for, and what can trigger that in a woman or a man, quite frankly. So stage five clinger was coined from the movie Wedding Crashers. So if you actually got my email, I put a clip from the movie Wedding Crashers around stage five clinger. So it's a funny statement that actually isn't so funny, and can be, like I said, brought on and be a little bit more serious, because if it can turn into somebody being obsessive or a stalker, or not really the healthiest type of connection. So you want to look at certain things. And oftentimes as women, you're out there dating, you want to make a great connection with someone, and maybe you've met a great guy, and he comes on really strong in the beginning. Who's had that? Where he's, planning your next dates, talking about a weekend away in the mountains together, how amazing that would be, how he'd love for you to go to his family reunion with you, all of these things that he's implanting you into his life. He's saying, oh gosh, you'd love my sister. She's, I have a feeling you two would really hit it off. You just some of the things you say, I think you really like each other. You'd fit in well with my family. My dad's like, whatever, right? So what can happen there is, you feel like somebody's including you into your life really quickly, which can be a stage five clinger. Somebody that, all of a sudden you're single, you meet somebody, a few hours later, a date later, all of a sudden you feel like you're placed into their life, and it's like you've been around them for a long time, but yet you haven't. So it feels familiar yet unfamiliar. And oftentimes as a woman that wants love, that wants connection, that has met someone that you feel somewhat of a connection with, can go along with that. So I'm going to tell you two things that happen. I was just talking to a woman about this earlier, is that the man can come on really strong, and when he is excited about you and is, charmed, enchanted by you, thinks that you seem really amazing, he will do what they call try you on. So he'll say a lot of things out loud that he truly does mean in the moment, yet he could get to know you after a date, 2, 3, 4, 5 dates, and start to see things that, maybe that wouldn't fit in with his life. And again, this is not personal, right? Or he then decides, wow, maybe I'm not ready for the real deal. Or, there's, usually if somebody goes 0 to 100, there's brakes that are going to be put on, and it's like all the stuff from the back of the car gets, comes to the front. So there's, it usually ends as quickly as it starts. So there's a real importance here of being aware that when you first meet a guy that you have a great connection with, he's going to be trying you on. And men typically aren't that conscious when they're talking about those types of things. And as women, we start to future trip. We start to think, oh, wow, gosh, maybe we could have a kid together, or I could see us married, or he really wants to live here. And while all that's well and good, it's, taking the time to get to know that person and pacing them. So pacing them, right? As a woman, you actually control the pace of the relationship. And, if a man starts off kind of strong and then pulls back or he disappears, and I'm going to go back to the stage 5 clinger around that, sometimes he picks up on cues from you. He picks up on your uncertainty, or, he's met somebody else as well that it seems to be going better. So that's the importance of dating. And, when it comes to somebody that you're getting to know, definitely get to know multiple people. Make sure that you're communicating that early on as you're dating. So don't make the mistake of saying, hiding your dating or any of that. Make sure that you're being forthcoming. Yeah, we definitely just met. I really love the direction this is headed. I can't imagine laughing as much as I laugh with you. Or, I really enjoy talking to you, and I feel really close to you when we talk. And I am, I like to take things slowly. So I am getting to know other people at the same time as you. So letting someone know that can actually alleviate a bit of the stage 5 or make it even worse, because that person can, that clinger aspect can start, slowly and then go in, really hard and quick, but it can trigger that person who has the tendency to not listen. So they're not listening to what the other person is saying, like, oh, well, I'm going to win. They're really not dating, or they're in denial about that. So that person may start off slow, may be really amazing, and you may have the best connection with that person. And once they feel it, because you can usually feel a shift with people when they get to another stage in connection. You just can. And then that's when the real control starts. The real control around, where are you? Why didn't you answer my text message? Why aren't you here? All these things. I thought you were off work. Where you didn't actually sign up to have, a mother or a father, or, you're a grown adult. So that can feel very suffocating. It can feel overwhelming. Now, the thing is, in all and all truth around this kind of delicate topic, because we can be triggered into going that direction. So we can be triggered from that when, you know, you're dating someone and things tend to be going well. They're, you know, moving in a certain direction. Maybe he's giving you a lot of attention, and your tendency in the attachment style world, and I'll get into that more this week. Let me know if you guys would like for me to talk about attachment styles, because this is all interconnected, and it's really important because it helps you to understand, well, how do I, you know, what are my tendencies when I get triggered in connection with relationship? Do I shut down? Do I over communicate? Do I get into my head? Do, you know, what is it? So what it can do, especially for a woman, if a, you know, if a man is pulling back and you're feeling anxious and you don't know what's going on, and as women, you know, at times, because we tend to want to make things right in the world or with people, we might go, oh, what did I do wrong? You know, what's going on? Are we okay? So we go forward with trying to close the gap of making things okay. So we might overcompensate by reaching out, going into that energy, which actually pushes a man away, which can also trigger more insecurity, because the stage 5 clinger actually comes from insecurity. A secure person, a fully secure attachment style, is gonna, you know, they might have moments of a bit of anxiety. However, the other side to that is, at the end of the day, they're gonna say in their head, well, I'm secure about where I'm at with this person. I care about them. They care about me. And I'm going to hear from them. It's going to be okay. And if something is meant to change in our relationship, I am going to be in acceptance of that. So when you're talking about these sorts of phenomenons like stage 5 clingers, stalking, you know, exhibiting behaviors that are, you know, more on the obsessive compulsive side, this happens, you know, due to that triggering. You know, you could actually meet someone who is more clingy, that's actually an avoidant personality. So they can start off really clingy and they can start off that way. And then when you start to think, okay, well, maybe this is okay. Maybe it's a sign that this person really cares, that they're checking up on me all the time, and that they want to know when I'm going to be home, and that, you know, they're overly almost doting on you. So I say two things around that. One, that's not, I mean, it's not really a healthy level of connection. And healthy levels of connection happen when two people figure out that rhythm. And yes, there are times where it's off balance and that sort of thing, but being really cognizant, you know, is somebody attempting to control what's triggering that. You know, I've known, you know, even women, you know, women clients that I've worked with that are really great daters. They start off really good in the dating phase, and then they move into relationship, which actually creates more anxiety for them, because there's more they feel expectation, like, okay, what's the next step? What's happening? So they start to try to control the person or the relationship, which means, you know, they might try to determine where they're going exactly, you know, not really going with the flow so much, and, you know, allowing the relationship to progress naturally. And that can be difficult for anyone, and especially women, when we think, okay, so we like for certain things to happen in a certain timeline. also, some of that is learning self-soothing strategies. And, you may have had a time in your life, I know I have, where, I didn't show up as my best. I mean, that's part of, I teach what I need the most, right? I didn't show up as my best. I might have, I've gone into that space, but I wasn't even aware of it until I learned about, okay, what was it that triggered that within me? So that could be incessantly calling, things like that. It's like, what I encourage you to do is take some deep breaths. And that's why moving slower in the beginning to move faster later on is a really good rule of thumb, because number one, you're going to get to know their tendencies, because if that person has the tendency to become more needy, more, clingy, more on the insecure side, it's going to come out within the 3 months, within the first 3 months, typically, because it can start a little bit slower, but there's that tipping point that happens. And if you find yourself going to those places, like, yeah, I get to that tipping point and I feel like I'm out of control and all I want to do is grasp onto something, that's the time where you get to create more activity, more things within you, in your life, to make you happy. Because a relationship is icing on the cake, it's cherry on the top. It's like having a really amazing, loving partner is awesome, and they're not your everything. And it doesn't make who you are. Who you are as an individual is amazing. And, those lines get blurred when we're trying to control, or we're in this space where we want what we want and we can't detach from the outcome and learn how to communicate calmly, and even call yourself out. Say, gosh, you know what? Sometimes when I don't hear from my partner, until later on in the evening, I start to get worried. My mind starts to wander, like something happened to you, because I do that with people I care about, right? So, communicating things of, it makes me really happy when I get to, hear your voice, or we connect daily, even if we don't see each other. It's, those kinds of things, and having the understanding when it doesn't happen. This can avoid that. And if you have other things, other purposes in your life rather than partnership, however, if it is a top priority to bring in loving partnership, awesome. Continue taking the action steps. However, make sure that you're in this space in your life where you've got some other amazing things going on, because you never know what can come in through those amazing activities, whether that be, running, hiking, biking, traveling. I mean, there's just a whole world out there of things that you can be a part of, connect with people that are like-minded. So I hope this helps. I mean, the stage 5 clinger is kind of funny, and let me know. I would love to hear, have you experienced this? How did it feel? Was there, have you ever had it where it felt kind of scary? What did you do? So if you have anyone that you feel needs to hear this, please share this with, a friend, loved one, whomever. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube and you like us, please like us. Please, place something in the comment box and follow Create Your Own Luck and Love. Sending you guys so much love. Have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see you next time. Bye.